Alright, hi there guys, this is O the Humanity, and today we're going to be playing Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. I'm really excited to bring this to you guys. I've been playing so much of it lately. It's such a fun game. I did, however, delete my save file so that we could play through from the beginning and just kind of go through it step by step. Mainly in this guide I'm going to be focusing on kind of the different mechanics and things that I don't think that you'd see in a similar guide or playthrough. Kind of just different glitches slash maybe they were intended mechanics that you can do as Vergil to really help you get into his playstyle and just do a lot of really cool, interesting stuff. So we'll be going through different things like that. We'll be covering the story. Also, really quickly, if you're having trouble deleting your save file, delete it with the game open, and that should do it for you. Or move it into a folder while the game's open. Either way. But yeah. So there isn't that much story, but we'll be going through it anyways. But the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to change your controls. I am using Xbox 360 CE. This is because I have a really old controller. I have a Logitech dual action controller. And so my buttons get screwed up all the time. So the first thing you're going to want to change is you're going to want the ranged attack on a shoulder button. And the reason you're going to want your ranged attack on the shoulder button is just because Vergil's summon swords are very integral to his combat style. And so you're really going to want that on the shoulder button. Then we're going to switch the devil trigger over to the right side and lock on to the left side. And the reason we're doing that is because I like to air cancel with my pointer finger and middle finger. And so if lock on's on the right side, I can't do that. So a lot of people like to change jump to a shoulder button and they'll air cancel that way. This is just my personal preference. And then we have to change sword to X. So while this intro level's going on, we're going to just talk about the story that's going on in Devil May Cry 4. And we got to turn turbo mode on too. And essentially turbo mode just speeds the game up. But the story that we just skipped is essentially it's taken from the novel. So there's a novel written on Devil May Cry 4 called Devil May Cry 4 Deadly Fortunes. And in the novel, Nero has this dream about Vergil. And essentially in the dream, Vergil comes to Fortuna, which is the city we're in, to figure out kind of what they know about Sparta. Because Vergil cares about Sparta. Dante has no care in the world about Sparta. He could give a crap about his dad. Vergil cares about his dad, so he wants to know as much as he can know. So he comes to the city and he ends up sleeping with a prostitute. And essentially that's how Nero was made. Is Vergil slept with a prostitute and that made Nero. And so in the cutscene you see this standard village girl look back at Vergil. That's what that's hinting at. So in the level, at this point it doesn't matter if you get hit. It doesn't matter if you get all the red orbs. They're just bonus. There's no point in what you do in this portion. But we do want to get an A rank on the level in general, because that will let us get kind of more abilities right off the bat. So when you're jumping over those bullets, make sure that you're not locked on. And then when you're rolling, obviously, you want to be locked on. So that's kind of the story. We'll go more into kind of what's written in Deadly Fortunes and the differences, because they mainly have to do with Dante and Nero. One of the cool things you can do with Vergil is that if you use his trick ability, you can cancel any move. So here you just want to, your last slash will count as long as you would have hit him. Like, say he's on the ground and you're using your Yamato combo, it will still count even if he doesn't actually take the hit. Like, even if he's during his iframes. And then on this upper slash thing, I just find it helpful to use the force edge. Alright, so now the level's actually started. This is where you want to go, and it doesn't really matter if you get hit that much. I mean, you can try avoiding it, but just don't die. And get all the red orbs in all of these benches. And that will basically guarantee you an A rank if you're fast enough. So once you get all the red orbs, you're just going to switch to Yamato, hit him a couple times, and then trick and go again. And you do have devil trigger as Vergil, so you can just kind of repeatedly do this kind of thing. Force Edge doesn't do as much damage as you can see, but we'll switch to Yamato and then take him out. And so really right there you're going for speed. So most of the time the rank's going to look like A in speed and S in orbs. And that's going to get you that A rank you want in the first level. And there you can see your A rank. So that gives you more Proud Souls than you would have gotten if you got a B rank. You kind of always want to shoot for an A rank if you can't get an S rank, which is hard to do during the first playthrough because you don't have access to all of your arsenal, and the enemies are so weak that you end up killing them too quickly. So because we got an A rank, we get to get one more ability. The thing you want to get no matter what, if you don't have, we're going to pick up Rapid Slash, but if you did get a B rank, don't pick up Rapid Slash, just get Speed. That's personal preference, but Speed is going to be your bread and butter. Like, that just makes the game go by much faster and just, like, the boring parts. So here's Vergil's combat. If you look in the upper left, you can see your concentration gauge filling up. So what that does is if you run around, if you get hit, it's going to go down. As long as you're just walking around and standing still, it's going to go up. Or if you're hitting him. Now this has a different effect on each of Vergil's weapons. So for Yamato, it gives it a ridiculous amount of range. So if you look, you can see I'm way far away from the enemy, and Yamato's still connecting. For Beowulf, it gives you an extra charge. So if you hold down your button, you get 2 charges normally. Fully charged, you get that 3rd charge. And then for the Force Edge, you get this kind of multi-hit ability. And let me just get my concentration back up. Can't believe the enemy hit me there. But, you know, just kind of showing you. So, it gives you kind of this multi-hit ability. And that's nice. So the other thing is Vergil's Judgment Cut. So if you hold down your attack button, you're going to use Judgment Cut once it charges up. The other thing you can do is just Judgment Cut. So if you release the button early while holding it, you're going to do just Judgment Cut, which you just saw. Now if you want to use just Judgment Cut during a different ability, that's not the first ability, essentially you just hold down the button during that ability. And this works with normal Judgment Cut as well. So you can use Vergil's Judgment Cut off of any of Yamato's combo abilities. So if I want to use it on this 3rd ability. So if I hold it too long, I get Judgment Cut. And if I hold it too short, nothing happens. But if I hold it just right, then I get just Judgment Cut. Another thing you can do is you can actually continually Judgment Cut into the air. And I'll show you that just a little bit later in the level. So there's a lot of other things you can do with Vergil, and just a lot of fun techniques, even from the very beginning, where we don't have that many abilities. We don't really have a lot. So I'm going to try to show it to you, but essentially what you do, and what I'm doing right now, is to rapidly Judgment Cut, you need a sword embedded in the enemy, and then you just hit your melee and then trick button in tandem really, really quickly. It helps to use your pointer finger and middle finger. If you can't, you can just slide your thumb too. So let's kill some enemies and then we'll try. So here we go. So you gotta have a summon sword in them, and then you hit Y circle and then you hit Y circle again. Triangle circle Y B. I think it's B on the Xbox controller. I'm actually not sure. But yeah, so that's how you do it. I'll get it a little bit later. It's really hard to do actually. And if you're not able to get it, make sure you have a summon sword embedded in the enemy. Otherwise it just won't work. And the reason that's happening, the reason it doesn't work, and really quickly, so you don't have double jump as Vergil. Instead, you have trick up. So right from the beginning, you get your double jump, and that's going to help you a lot in getting blue orbs and different things. So just when you're not locked on, just hit circle and you'll trick up. So we'll try to do the Judgment Cut thing again in this special mission. You can incorporate it into different abilities. It's really, really hard to do that, to switch from another weapon and do this. But you can do it. It's just ridiculously hard. So I didn't get it there, but I'm sure I'll get it soon. It's not gonna be that big of a deal. It's not as hard as you think. So right there, where essentially you saw me go up in there twice and get it, that's essentially what you can do. And you can actually do that repeatedly. I've gotten up to 4 times. There's people who can do it like 8 times, 6 times. It just, gets a little bit harder. But there's a lot of interesting things you can do with Vergil's combat style, and especially since he can cancel every ability with his trick ability. And so that's going to play just an absolutely integral role into just kind of your play style. And even if you suck at air canceling, and if you're wondering, I've been telling a lot about air canceling. Air canceling is essentially just hitting the jump button and using enemy step and then using an attack in tandem. And it's easy with certain abilities, it's hard with other ones. You can use jump cancel as kind of a bootlegged air cancel. So it makes air canceling a lot easier as Vergil than, say, if you were Dante and you have to kind of get the pattern down. But if you look here, I killed the enemy. But there's something very interesting about Vergil's summon swords that will really, really, really help your combat. So if you look here, let me get an enemy in there and actually do this. So normally an enemy is going to go and fly down to the ground. Just kill this guy. Alright. He has no health. Kill him. Oops. Alright. But if you embed him with a summon sword, he won't fall down to the ground. This also is true with any sort of a momentum. So if you knock an enemy forward, or knock an enemy down into the ground or up into the air, and they get hit with a summon sword as they're going through that, that's going to stop them wherever they're at. So getting Vergil's summon sword's kind of speed abilities is really helpful early on. So we're going to probably pick up summon sword level 1 pretty quickly, and we'll wait a bit on summon sword level 2 because it does cost a lot, and there's other things we can do to make the playthrough look cooler. And that's kind of what we're focusing on, but we also want to give you guys what you might want to do if you were focusing on just getting through the game. So there's a blue orb fragment up there. Make sure you get that. Another interesting thing is not all of the special levels you're able to really beat as Vergil. You're also not even able to go into them. So there's some special, like secret levels, not special levels, but secret levels that you can only go into as Nero. And we'll go through those kind of as we go through the game. So I'll show you where they are. But yeah. So then you can kind of mix these abilities that you already know and kind of just have fun. Alright. So we're almost to Burial. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in the story that we can actually talk about. Because as far as mechanics go, there's some more mechanics that we're going to show next episode. But you need to have, well, you don't need to, but it's a lot easier to show if you have certain abilities. So there you can essentially just keep tricking and then use your rapid slash. If you're ever in a bind, fire your summon swords while doing that, and it's just unfair, really. Like, it's helpful if you're in a bind, but it looks cool for a little bit, but you really only get 2 off before you go. Also, as kind of when you're in Devil Trigger mode, your rapid slash embeds explosive swords into the enemy, And so you can rapidly do that and then just let rapid slash end, even if you're not in devil trigger mode. And those will detonate, and they will send the enemy really far into the sky if you've got a lot of them embedded. And that can be really, really fun to kind of give you some cool combos. Is you can launch them like super, super high into there. And if you have like, I forget what the ability is called, but essentially spiral swords go around the enemy instead of you, and then they come in. That move also sends them really high. So if you can almost get them up to the ceiling using those in tandem. So strategy for Vergil is pretty easy as Vergil. You essentially just teleport to him, teleport to him, and just keep going through your 3 slashes and then canceling. And then you can switch to Beowulf, do some spins, you can do some kicks, you can do whatever you want, kind of switch down to the ground. Make sure you utilize your devil trigger. He's going to explode in a little bit, and I am not actually going to get away, but this first time through, you almost can't lose, because they give you green orbs. Just make sure that if you're low on health, you go and get those. They stay around for quite some time, especially on this difficulty. If you're on higher difficulties, this is much harder, but you also have a huge arsenal of weapons. And then Lunar Phase, which is that spinning move, when you're DT, so when you've used your devil trigger, and you do it in the air, it's going to actually go longer and kind of look cooler. And if you do it on the ground, it will actually give you these 3 kicks that can be really useful as well, and we'll see that later too. So when he shoves his hand into the ground, essentially you can go back onto the ground and just run around, if you're not wanting to get hit at all, which you can definitely do. Essentially, teleport around, hit him a bunch. When he starts charging up to explode, run away. And then when he shoves his fist in the ground, he's going to summon pillars of fire out of it. So just kind of dodge. And basically that's it. So we will see you guys next time. And take care.